Outsourcing is a business strategy that is initially developed to support the manufacturing industry. However, it has evolved into a crucial scheme for companies across various industries. As technology shapes the market, offshore outsourcing gains importance. Despite its consistent demand, controversy still surrounds offshoring, as it is tied to concerns regarding cheap labor. Does the low-cost nature of offshoring imply a compromise in quality, or does it suggest exploiting the global workforce, especially those in developing countries? This video explores what cheap labor means, how countries and employers try to regulate it, and why outsourcing shouldn't be seen as cheap labor. Cheap labor means getting employed under harsh conditions for low pay. These practices involved child labor, long hours of work, underpayment, neglecting benefits, and forcing subpar conditions. The International Labour Organization estimates around 25 million people globally are victims of this exploitation. Cheap labor comes in two forms: physical and digital. Physical labor involves manual work in places like factories and farms. Digital labor found in online sites are jobs that pay below standard rates, with some earning only $1 to $2 per hour. A PayPal report indicates that 58% of surveyed freelancers have faced issues of not getting paid at all.
The world's leading outsourcing marketplace and advice suite, Outsource Accelerator.
Cheap labor persists in both developing and already developed countries, despite efforts by organizations and institutions to combat these practices. During China's development peak, cheap labor practices included exploiting workers under 16 by making them work 28 days a month in harsh conditions with physical punishment. Chinese Labor Bulletin reported teenagers from poor families dropping out of school for work, while some were abducted and forced into labor across the country. Child labor persists in rural India despite the growing outsourcing economy. A 2017 Asia Foundation report revealed that 5.8 million Indian child laborers are facing harsh conditions, the highest in South Asia. Shockingly, 100,000 staff work up to 14 hours a day in Delhi sweatshops. The situation worsened with the pandemic and increased poverty. Many children are either trafficked or promised a meager salary of 3,000 rupees or around $41. In the Philippines, cheap labor is widespread in the informal sector. This unregulated sector involves various economic activities, enterprises, jobs, and workers, with women being the most vulnerable. Despite government and labor organization efforts, cases of cheap labor persisted as recently as 2019. Migrant workers in Mexico face harsh conditions, like employers restricting them to farms and overcharging for necessities in on-site stores. These workers lack contracts, social security, and proper rest. They often endure over 12-hour workdays for minimal pay, even when they're feeling unwell. Bangladesh is a hub for clothing factories where major brands like H&M, Zara, and Gap outsource manufacturing. A 2019 report by The Guardian revealed workers were being paid just 35 pence per hour for a 54-hour week. They face pressure to work overtime, meet unrealistic targets, and suffer from heat-related illnesses. Even today, forced labor is on the rise in Europe and Central Asia, which affects almost 3.6 million workers, with 91% of them experiencing coercion. A UK institution's report reveals that forced labor in 9 EU countries is prevalent in domestic service, agriculture, and clothing industries. Additionally, 60% of these workers come from neighboring countries like Romania and Bulgaria. Lastly, Corporations including H&M and Calvin Klein contract cheap labor in Africa, particularly Ethiopia, for their services. This minimal income is further strained as accommodation costs have risen to $52 Australian due to an influx of workers. Countries globally enforce labor laws to safeguard workers' rights. In the United States, the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, sets federal standards for minimum wage, overtime pay, record keeping, and youth employment. In the United Kingdom, labor laws cover anti-discrimination, maternity leave, and flexible working hours. The International Labour Organization, or ILO, established in 1919, collaborates with UN member states to establish international labor standards and ensure the welfare of workers worldwide. Outsourcing, often criticized for exploitation, isn't simply cheap labor. Governments endorse it, and BPO companies prioritize regulations and worker well-being. In the Philippines, a typical outsourced employee receives around $500 per month with annual bonuses. Social media virtual assistants may earn up to $20 per hour, which reflects a trend toward fair pay. Call centers in various countries also comply with regulations, which ensures employee satisfaction. In developing nations like South Africa, impact sourcing uplifts people from poverty, contributing to economic growth and providing meaningful employment. Outsourcing is more than cheap labor. It fosters economic development and produces decent jobs. It has helped many developing countries expand their economies by providing jobs and income to its citizens. If you want to explore the possibilities of outsourcing to your business, visit OutsourceAccelerator.com, where you can get 3 free codes, book a call, or download our toolkit. Like and share this video if this has been helpful to you. Subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.